What if I told you the way most people think about building wealth is completely backwards? They imagine it as a straight line, slow and steady, dollar in, dollar out, repeat forever. But the truth is far more interesting, and once you understand the actual pattern, you will never look at your investment account the same way again. There is a rhythm to how money grows, and it follows a specific sequence. 8 years, then 4 years, then 3 years. That is the 8-4-3 rule. Same contributions, same market conditions, but wildly different outcomes at each stage. And if you do not understand this timeline, you will almost certainly quit right before everything changes. Let me show you exactly why. Start with phase 1, the grind. Years 1 through 8. This is where most people give up, and honestly, it makes total sense why they do. In these early years, you are doing almost all of the heavy lifting yourself. Your monthly contributions are the main engine. The market is helping, yes, but because your total balance is still relatively small, the actual dollar returns feel almost insulting compared to the effort you are putting in. You might be 3 or 4 years in, contributing every single month, watching the news, staying disciplined, and your balance looks barely bigger than what you have physically transferred from your paycheck. That is deeply discouraging. Here is what makes this phase psychologically dangerous. Your brain is wired for feedback. It wants to see effort rewarded quickly. When it does not get that signal, it starts manufacturing excuses to stop. You start thinking that maybe the whole investing thing is overhyped. Maybe the market is rigged. Maybe you would be better off just spending that money now. None of those thoughts are based on reality. They are just your brain reacting to a delayed payoff system it was never designed to understand. In phase 1, you are not really building returns yet. You are building critical mass. Think of it like packing a snowball before you roll it down a hill. You have to compress enough snow first, and that part feels tedious and slow. But without it, there is no snowball. There is just cold hands and nothing to show for it. The 8-4-3 rule tells us that this phase lasts about 8 years. That is a long time. It is genuinely a test of character as much as it is a test of financial strategy. But here is what changes at year 9 that makes every single month of that grind worth it. Phase 2 kicks in at year 9 and runs through year 12. Just 4 years. And in those 4 years, something remarkable happens. Your portfolio starts growing by roughly the same total amount it grew in the entire previous 8 years. Let that land for a second. You grind for nearly a decade, build up a meaningful balance, and then in just half that time, you replicate the entire result. You have literally doubled your growth speed without doing anything differently. Same contributions, same funds, same boring automated transfer every month. This happens because compounding finally has enough fuel to become self-sustaining. The returns you earned in year 2 are now generating their own returns. The returns from year 5 are compounding on top of those. Your original contributions have been quietly multiplying in the background for a decade, and now they are starting to pull serious weight. You are no longer carrying everything alone. The momentum of the portfolio itself is now contributing meaningfully alongside you. Psychologically, this phase is a massive relief. People who make it here tend to become genuinely excited about personal finance for the first time. They stop dreading their monthly investment and start looking forward to watching the numbers move. And because they survived the volatility and flat-feeling years of phase 1, they are also far more emotionally resilient. A market dip no longer feels like a crisis. It feels like a discount. But as good as phase 2 feels, it is honestly just the warm-up. Phase 3. Years 13, 14, and 15. 3 years. And in those 3 years, your portfolio generates another chunk of growth equal to what it generated in phase 2, which was already equal to all of phase 1. So in just 36 months, you are stacking wealth at a pace that is nearly triple where you started. This is the part of the compounding chart that looks like a vertical line, the hockey stick everyone talks about, but few people actually reach because they stopped somewhere in the first 8 years. At this point, your monthly contribution is almost irrelevant compared to what the portfolio itself is generating. You might have days where a single percentage point move in the market adds more to your balance than you earn in a month at your job. It feels like you suddenly got lucky or found some secret, but you did not. You just stayed in long enough for the math to go exponential. Here is a concrete example to make this real. Say you invest around $500 a month into a diversified equity fund, averaging roughly 10% annually over the long term. After 8 years, you have put in about $48,000 of your own money. Your balance sits somewhere around $70,000 to $75,000. Decent, not life-changing. Then 4 years later, at year 12, that balance has grown to somewhere in the range of $130,000 to $140,000. You nearly doubled in 4 years what took 8 years to build. Then in just 3 more years, you push well past $200,000. The acceleration is unmistakable, and it follows the same pattern every time. Now here is the strategic insight this rule gives you. Every year you delay starting is not just 1 year of contributions you miss. It is 1 year stolen from the compounding curve, and specifically from that exponential phase at the end. Start at 20, and your first vertical climb happens by your mid-30s. You potentially have time for multiple cycles. Wait until 40 to take this seriously, and you are pushing that payoff into your mid-50s, with far less runway ahead of you. You cannot earn your way out of lost time. Money can be replaced. Time cannot. There is also a counterintuitive truth about market downturns that this rule reveals. If you are in phase 1, a crash is actually your best friend. You are a net buyer of investments. When prices drop, you are buying more units with the same monthly contribution. When recovery comes, and historically markets do recover, you have more units compounding for you heading into phases 2 and 3. A crash in year 4 is not a disaster. It is a sale. The only time volatility becomes dangerous is if you let fear push you out of the market entirely, locking in losses and destroying your timeline. One more thing that can quietly kill this whole process is fees. The 8-4-3 rule works on clean compounding. A 2% annual management fee sounds harmless, but over 15 years, it dramatically flattens the curve. It chips away at exactly the phase 3 acceleration you have been working toward. This is why low-cost index funds and broadly diversified ETFs are the natural partner for this strategy. You want to capture market returns without handing a significant portion of your compounding to someone else. So what do you actually do with this? First, give your 15-year goal a name. Retirement, financial freedom, whatever it means to you. A named goal survives the boring years better than a vague one. Second, automate everything. Remove willpower from the equation entirely. The rule depends on consistency, and automation delivers consistency regardless of how you feel in any given month. Third, keep it simple. A global equity index fund is not exciting, but it is devastatingly effective over 15 years. Fourth, and most importantly, protect the timeline. Do not raid the account. Do not pause contributions because the news is scary. The machine only works if you let it run uninterrupted. The 8-4-3 rule is not a guarantee of specific numbers. Markets are unpredictable in the short term, and everyone's situation is different. But as a mental model for understanding why patience pays off exponentially, it is one of the most powerful frameworks you can carry with you. The work is front-loaded. The reward is back-loaded. Your job for the first 8 years is simply to not quit. Where are you right now in your own journey? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. If this video opened your eyes to what's possible, subscribe, because your financial freedom story starts right here on this channel.